In the natural order of life, there exists a silent mechanism of balance, an unseen system that ensures no action, positive or negative, goes unnoticed. It is not driven by emotion or vengeance, but by a precise recalibration of energy. Individuals who have experienced adversity often find, over time, that those hardships were not merely challenges, they were catalysts, tools for transformation, and preparation for a greater purpose. For those considered the chosen ones, the weight of trials is often heavier, not because they are weaker, but because their role in the unfolding sequence of events is more significant. The process of becoming a chosen one rarely begins with recognition. It often starts in obscurity. One may find themselves criticized, underestimated, or entirely overlooked. And yet, these experiences are necessary. They serve as the refining fire through which the chosen are strengthened, not broken. This segment examines the phenomenon of perceived injustice and isolation as indicators of future elevation. It also explores how individuals, once marginalized or overlooked, are now stepping into positions of influence, not through loud declarations, but through silent resilience. The idea that setbacks are not endpoints but pivot points is central. Each lie spoken, each obstacle created by those who sought to hinder progress, ultimately returns to its source. This is not spiritual conjecture, it is a principle of alignment. The energy that one emits, whether in thought, speech, or action, sets into motion a chain of responses within this universal mechanism. The chosen ones often experience betrayal and sabotage not because they are weak targets, but because their presence disturbs systems built on superficiality and control. Notably, chosen individuals often embody qualities that expose the insecurities of others. Their composure can be misread as arrogance, their clarity mistaken for defiance. But the truth lies elsewhere. It is their alignment with their purpose that creates discomfort in those who have yet to find their own. Emerging data from psychological studies on social exclusion suggest that individuals with strong internal belief systems, particularly those who have experienced consistent interpersonal resistance, often develop higher emotional intelligence. Their experiences force them to become perceptive, adaptive, and emotionally self-regulated. These traits do not make them weak, they make them formidable. This segment also addresses the phenomenon of transformation through adversity. Those who once threw obstacles into the paths of others often find that their efforts produce the opposite effect. In professional environments, for example, those who face unjust criticism or exclusion frequently use such experiences as fuel to advance. Research into workplace dynamics indicates that individuals who process failure constructively are statistically more likely to rise into leadership roles. The principle is simple: challenges refine clarity, and clarity becomes power. The chosen one does not respond with retaliation. Silence becomes their defense. The absence of reaction confuses those who are conditioned to provoke. In environments where manipulation and drama are the norm, stillness becomes a disruption. The chosen one's ability to remain poised during chaos makes them difficult to manipulate and even more difficult to discredit. Their calm becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, others are forced to confront what they have tried to hide. This is where the idea of cosmic irony comes into play. The very weapons forged to destroy the chosen often become the tools of their elevation. Time becomes the ultimate revealer. And time, as an impartial agent, allows every hidden truth to surface. It is not a matter of if, only when. As we observe these unfolding narratives, one recurring theme stands out. Individuals who remain true to themselves despite public misunderstanding eventually shift from being ignored to being studied. From being mocked to being modeled. Their trajectory may begin in silence, but it ends in influence. This quiet transformation is no accident. It is the result of inner work, the decision to evolve rather than react, to learn rather than retaliate. Consider the emotional resilience required to reach such a state. In psychological terms, this is known as post-traumatic growth. It is the process by which individuals not only recover from difficult experiences but are fundamentally transformed by them. The chosen ones do not just survive, they are sharpened. Importantly, this transformation is not linear. There are relapses, moments of doubt, periods of disillusionment. But even in these phases, growth continues underground. Just as roots strengthen beneath the soil before a tree breaks the surface, chosen individuals build capacity before they are recognized. Their breakthroughs are not random, they are the result of persistence. This part of the journey demands that the chosen one reevaluate what they carry. Emotional weight, unresolved pain, old expectations, these cannot be taken into the new phase. There must be a conscious decision to travel light. Letting go is not an act of forgetting but a strategy for alignment. Every burden released creates space for clarity. Psychologically, this is supported by studies in cognitive load theory. When the mind is overloaded with unresolved emotional data, decision-making becomes impaired. But when mental clutter is cleared, individuals gain sharper insight and better judgment. In this way, detachment becomes not only spiritual but strategic. Yet, despite all internal progress, there is an external test, the return of those who once underestimated or mistreated the chosen one. This is not uncommon. Individuals who initially rejected or criticized others often seek to re-enter their lives once they sense a shift in energy or status. These returns are not always malicious, but they are rarely without agenda. The chosen must learn to recognize these returns for what they are, invitations to repeat cycles or opportunities to demonstrate growth. Discernment becomes critical. In the context of interpersonal relationships, this means observing actions, not just words. In the context of career, it means evaluating opportunities through the lens of alignment, not desperation. This stage of development is where the concept of emotional sovereignty becomes relevant. Emotional sovereignty is the ability to remain self-directed regardless of external influence. It means no longer allowing praise to inflate or criticism to deflate one's sense of worth. For the chosen, this is a non-negotiable skill. Without it, elevation becomes performance. With it, elevation becomes purpose. There is also a shift in how love and connection are experienced. Previously, relationships may have mirrored pain or patterns of abandonment. But as the chosen heal, they begin to attract differently. Peace replaces drama. Mutual respect replaces power struggles. This does not mean that challenges disappear, but that connection now comes with clarity, not confusion. Interestingly, neuroscience supports this evolution. Studies in attachment theory show that individuals who achieve secure internal attachment, through therapy, reflection, or spiritual work, tend to attract more stable external relationships. This is because the nervous system is no longer on high alert, no longer searching for the familiar chaos it once mistook for connection. The final insight in this first segment is this: silence is not emptiness. For the chosen one, it is preparation. Waiting seasons are not wasted, they are formative. During these periods, the chosen learn what cannot be taught in books or classrooms. They learn patience. They learn stillness. They learn the difference between timing and readiness. This is where the principle of divine alignment becomes most visible. When the chosen one is internally calibrated, no longer reacting, no longer seeking external validation, everything external begins to adjust. People appear. Opportunities align. The environment shifts. And when this shift happens, the world that once overlooked them begins to notice. As the chosen ones emerge from obscurity into influence, they enter a new landscape, one where alignment is no longer a distant goal but an active experience. What once felt like loss now appears as strategy. What once seemed like chaos now reflects precision. And perhaps most importantly, what once passed for love is now seen for what it truly was: preparation. This is not about romanticism. It is about clarity. The kind of clarity that reshapes how relationships are formed and maintained. For the chosen ones, love is no longer tied to pain, confusion, or validation seeking. It becomes a mirror. A space of mutual reflection, not projection. The people now drawn into their lives are not there to test them, but to reflect their growth. The dynamic changes. The connection stabilizes. The journey, once marked by scarcity, is now anchored in intention. These changes are not arbitrary. They are the result of internal work that has reprogrammed how the chosen ones operate. By disconnecting from cycles of unworthiness, they become unavailable for chaos. By stepping into self-respect, they automatically filter out connections that cannot match their energy. And this is not limited to personal relationships, it applies to professional, spiritual, and social dynamics as well. There is also a key distinction in how the chosen now recognize connection, through peace, not pressure. In the past, love may have been associated with urgency, inconsistency, and emotional turbulence. But now, peace becomes the metric. The nervous system no longer reacts to red flags. The heart no longer confuses adrenaline with attraction. The mind, once consumed with deciphering mixed signals, now seeks alignment over intensity. In psychological terms, this is a shift from anxious attachment to secure embodiment. It is the process of anchoring internally rather than externally. This transformation allows chosen individuals to move beyond survival-based choices into resonance-based decisions. They no longer ask, will they choose me, but instead ask, does this match who I've become? This inner stability allows them to recognize the significance of timing. They no longer rush connection. They allow it to unfold. What used to feel like delays are now seen as sacred pauses, moments in which their future is being quietly constructed. There is a deep trust in process, not because they know what will happen, but because they have already survived what didn't. The chosen also begin to notice synchronicities, those small, repeated signals that feel too specific to be random. These are not simply coincidences. They are forms of subtle communication. A song lyric that mirrors a thought. A number sequence that recurs. A sentence in a book that mirrors an inner truth. These moments become guidance. They serve as confirmation that the chosen are not moving aimlessly, but with intention, even when the path is unclear. From a metaphysical standpoint, this is a shift from material validation to energetic resonance. And when this shift happens, chosen individuals begin to attract differently. Jobs come through recommendations they didn't expect. Relationships form effortlessly. Resources appear without strain. This is not magic. It is alignment. But with this clarity comes responsibility. Chosen individuals must remain vigilant against counterfeit alignments, those that appear promising but are rooted in old patterns. These are the relationships that mirror the past while pretending to be new. They are the opportunities that look aligned but require compromise of values. Discernment becomes critical. Without it, progress can be reversed. To navigate this, chosen ones must master 3 disciplines: boundaries, stillness, and truth-telling. Boundaries prevent misalignment from gaining access. They ensure that only what matches one's frequency can enter. In practice, this means saying no without guilt. It means recognizing red flags without seeking to repaint them. It means valuing time, energy, and emotional capacity. Stillness allows for clarity. It is in stillness that intuition becomes audible. When one is constantly moving, constantly seeking, the noise of the external world drowns out the guidance of the internal. But when still, the chosen can hear the subtle directions of timing, the nudges of insight, the confirmations of alignment. Truth-telling is perhaps the most difficult. It requires honesty not only with others, but with oneself. It means acknowledging what is not working. It means releasing what no longer fits. And most of all, it means refusing to perform. The chosen do not evolve by pleasing others. They evolve by honoring their truth. There is also an important shift in how progress is measured. In the early stages of the journey, success may have been defined by external recognition, status, approval, inclusion. But in this phase, progress is internal. It is measured by peace, by freedom, by how little one needs to explain themselves. It is measured by the quality of relationships, not the quantity. By the depth of alignment, not the breadth of visibility. This inner calibration enables the chosen to operate from a place of authenticity. They no longer mimic others' paths. They trust their own. They no longer compare timelines. They trust their own pace. This is where spiritual authority is born, not from perfection, but from alignment. As this authority deepens, others begin to notice, not because the chosen are louder, but because their energy speaks before they do. This is the moment when influence shifts. The chosen are no longer seeking approval. They are setting the tone. They are no longer fitting in. They are standing out. And as they stand out, the system around them begins to respond. People who once overlooked them seek their guidance. Opportunities that were previously closed begin to open. Doors that once required effort now respond to presence alone. This is not a coincidence. It is the manifestation of alignment over time. The internal work done in silence has now become external authority. The wounds once hidden have now become wisdom. The questions once feared now become clarity. And the chosen one, once doubted and dismissed, is now the standard. Importantly, this is not the end of the journey. It is a new beginning. With every elevation comes a new layer of responsibility. Influence must be stewarded. Energy must be protected. Alignment must be maintained. The work does not stop, it evolves. In this new chapter, the chosen must remain aware of a key principle: peace is the new power. Those who maintain internal peace amidst external pressure become unshakable. Their decisions are not reactive. Their words are not performative. Their leadership is not imposed, it is embodied. And in a world that thrives on noise, distraction, and urgency, that kind of presence is magnetic. This is what distinguishes the chosen from the crowd. They do not follow trends. They follow truth. They do not seek validation. They seek alignment. They do not react to conflict. They respond with clarity. And through this, they create spaces where others can do the same. At the core of this journey is the understanding that transformation is never accidental. It is the result of intention, surrender, and resilience. The chosen ones are not elevated because they desire power. They are elevated because they can be trusted with it. Their authority is not loud. It is quiet. But it is undeniable. As this journey nears its current endpoint, it is important to reflect on the quiet but significant evolution that has taken place. The chosen one is no longer a figure hidden behind confusion or burdened by past rejection. Instead, they now stand equipped with insight, strengthened by experience, and refined by delay. The trials endured were not for nothing. Each setback acted as a calibration tool, subtly adjusting the path toward alignment. Every lost relationship served as evidence of the kind of connection that no longer belongs. And every unanswered question slowly gave way to a kind of wisdom that cannot be taught, only lived. The chosen have learned that not all attention is opportunity. They've discovered that not every door is meant to open, and not every voice is worth answering. With this realization, they've stopped pursuing distractions and begun building their inner foundation. That foundation, formed in solitude and sealed in truth, is what now sustains them. But elevation is not a final destination. It is a condition that must be maintained. Influence must be managed. Energy must be preserved. And above all, alignment must be chosen, daily. The chosen one is now aware of the patterns that once disguised themselves as comfort. They see the signs earlier. They leave situations sooner. They recover faster. Because clarity, once earned, becomes the filter for everything that follows. Their relationship with time has changed, too. No longer dictated by urgency or comparison, they have come to respect divine pacing. They understand that alignment is not always instant. It is precise. The delay was not a punishment, it was protection. What appeared to be setbacks were, in fact, setups for strategic arrival. There is also a newfound relationship with love. Not a surface-level connection or an emotionally dependent bond, but love that operates as a stabilizing force. Love that requires no performance. Love that allows the chosen to remain fully themselves while encouraging growth in return. This love does not rescue, it reflects. And through this, the chosen experience what many never do, a relationship built not on trauma, but on truth. In the broader context, this transformation extends beyond the personal. It touches how they operate in the world, how they lead, how they speak, and how they serve. The chosen are no longer asking for permission. They are stepping into rooms with presence, not pretense. They are influencing not through volume, but through alignment. And they are guiding others not by offering answers, but by embodying clarity. Importantly, this is not about perfection. It is about integrity. The chosen one still makes mistakes, still faces doubt, still encounters resistance. But their response has changed. Where they once reacted, they now reflect. Where they once questioned their path, they now trust it. This shift, from chaos to clarity, from fear to certainty, defines the new era they've entered. This closing moment, then, is not an ending but a pause. A checkpoint on a longer journey that continues to unfold. The chosen one will continue to evolve. They will meet new challenges, form deeper connections, and hold higher standards. But they do so now with the knowledge that everything they need is already within them. The peace they once searched for externally has become an internal compass. In a world that often rewards noise, confusion, and compromise, the chosen one stands as proof that quiet strength, earned wisdom, and unshakable clarity can lead not only to personal fulfillment, but to a life lived in full alignment. Their future is not just possible, it is already in motion. And as they take their next steps, they do so not with hesitation, but with certainty, rooted, ready, and finally, fully aligned. If you've made it this far, it means you're not just a passive listener, you're a participant in your own transformation. Something in this message spoke to a part of you that's been waiting, watching, and quietly evolving behind the scenes. That's no coincidence. That's confirmation. So, what comes next? This journey does not end with understanding, it begins with action. You've gained clarity, language for your experience, and alignment with your purpose. Now it's time to move forward with intention. Start by making your presence known. Like this video if it resonated with where you are or where you're heading. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready for ongoing insight that affirms your growth, not just emotionally, but spiritually and mentally. This space is for the chosen ones, those moving with quiet precision toward a reality no one expected them to reach. And don't leave in silence, drop a comment below. Whether it's a single word, a declaration of where you are in your journey, or a reflection on what stood out to you, your voice belongs in this space. Let others see they're not alone. Let the algorithm know that this kind of content matters. Because it does. Finally, remember this, you don't have to force what's already aligned. Your only task is to stay open, stay aware, and stay moving. The universe responds to clarity, and now that you've found yours, the doors are already opening. You've been chosen for more. Walk like it. Speak like it. Live like it. This is just the beginning.